2 acquisitions, 1 message. LPT Realty's parent company, LPT Aperture, and its holdings, they just agreed to acquire Humanize and the Reside platform. And I'm going to break that all down for you. But it's a loud bet on what they believe is the future of real estate, and that's teams. Now, if you're a team leader, you're a solo real estate agent, or you're like simply just researching LPT Realty, like Humanize.io, the Reside platform, or like how LPT Realty stock and the whole IPO conversation is going, this actually matters more than most people realize. What's up, everyone? I'm Isaac Guzman with LPT Realty. On this channel, we break down real estate business models, right? Trends, team growth, recruiting systems, and where the industry is actually heading so you can make smarter moves, right, with your business. Now, I don't know, whether you're building a team or building a career, quick favor. If you want more videos like this, clear, direct breakdowns of what's happening in real estate, how you can grow, hit the subscribe button, okay? And I want you to comment one thing right now. Are teams replacing brokerages as the destination of choice for real estate agents? Yes or no? I'll pin the best take. All right, so here's what happened. All right, on February 3rd, LPT Aperture Holdings announced definitive agreements to acquire Reside and Humanize, 2 platforms that are really purpose-built to help real estate teams scale. All right, scale, manage, onboard, all that. Housing Wire and Inman both reported the same key points. Terms weren't disclosed, current leadership stays in place, and both platforms remain brokerage agnostic, meaning they'll still serve teams at any brokerage, not just LPT. LPT just holds them. Now, let's talk about why this is actually a big deal. Real Trends has been saying, it for years, but in different ways. Like, real estate teams outperform brokerages financially and structurally. And teams are becoming the model more agents plug into. This isn't just like some fad, all right? It's a real shift in the way that production and like leadership and leverage work in real estate. And Robert Palmer, the founder and CEO of LPT, is not hiding his thesis, right? He told Housing Wire, "I firmly believe that teams will replace real estate franchises over the next decade." That's his bet. And that quote alone tells you this isn't like, hey, we bought some software. We're building the infrastructure for the dominant team future. Real quickly, let's break down Humanize first, because people must misunderstand what it is sometimes. Humanize is a recruiting platform for modern real estate teams and brokerages. It also has retention and culture building parts of it, but recruiting and retention at scale is what teams are chasing, and they're providing a really great resource for that. Right? Business Wire described Humanize as software that came from operators who built their own team from like 2 agents to 200 plus in just over 2 years, and then turn their recruiting systems into a platform. And it's not just like some CRM or anything like that. The claim in the announcement is that Humanize has actually facilitated 50,000 plus agent introductions and contributed to about $5 billion in closed transactions. Plus, they're developing AI layers that they call agent intelligence that uses agent level data outside of typical MLS tools to really help agents grow. So what does that mean in plain English, right? Okay, I read through all the mumbo jumbo, Isaac. What does that mean? Well, if you're a team leader, your 2 biggest problems are always pretty much the same. Trust me. It's recruiting consistent talent and keeping the talent you've recruited, because agents don't leave over commission split traditionally, right? That's part of it. They really leave when they don't feel momentum. They don't feel like they're getting the attention they need. They don't feel like they're getting proper support, culture, or opportunity. A recruiting and lead retention engine does a few things really well in concept. It creates a predictable pipeline of agent conversations. It reduces administrative work and follow-up friction, and it helps you actually track and nurture and like convert recruits. And this part really matters because it helps you also build an internal environment of people that people don't really want to leave. And that's how teams really scale. That's the important part. And the founder of Humanize, his name's Chris Gianos. He's actually a good friend of mine. I've known him for a while. He and I were competitors. He used to compete in my market. So he and I were recruiting against one another, right? And I saw him just continue to just grow and grow and grow. And I absolutely love it. And he was very open about how things worked. And then he launched Humanize, and we were some of his first clients. So this isn't me just talking and reading like about Humanize. I've actually been a client of Humanize for a while, and we love the platform. We think it's great. And so Really, really is interesting stuff. Now let's talk about Reside. Now Reside, and we'll get to this in just a second, but it's also owned by two really good friends of mine. And so I'm very, very just proud of what they were able to do and excited for them and excited to see what they do with LPT. Obviously, I'm a big LPT guy, but I'm also a big Sunit Agrawal guy. I'm also a big John Cheplak guy. As a matter of fact, if you go check out the banner for this YouTube channel, right, go to the Real Estate CEO's YouTube channel, one of the three people on the channel is actually Sunit Agrawal. He's one of the founders of Reside. So super excited for him and for what this is going to do for LPT. And at the end, I'll share with you how it actually affects positively every single agent inside LPT Realty. So if you're considering LPT Real Estate for your brokerage, for your team, for you as a solo agent, you're going to want to keep paying attention. So as we talk about Reside, it's a platform that's slightly different. It's built to help team leaders and brokerage leaders grow and refine operations through things like coaching and training and onboarding agents and community support. And again, team growth infrastructure, right? Helping them stay accountable, lead flow, all those things. The key people here, like I said, are Sunit Agrawal and John Cheplak. Inman actually even published a photo lineup with like Sunit, Robert, Chris, and John in the acquisition coverage. So like they're all kind of in this thing together. And Housing Wire included a very clear positioning statement from Sunit, right? He said Reside was built to give team leaders what they need to scale technologically, right? In terms of training, coaching, and community under one roof. So they stopped duct taping solutions together and really focus on growth. Frankly, that's exactly what team leaders want, because the team game isn't sell more homes. It's build an operating system where agents can sell more homes, a recruiting system, onboarding system, training systems, accountability systems. Accountability matters a lot. Marketing system, retention system. So zoom out real quick. What do you get when LPT's parent company owns an AI recruiting platform for teams and a team growth, coaching, and community platform like Reside? You get a company doubling down on a single bet. Teams are the future. We're going to be the best ecosystem for team leaders. While other brokerages are spending their energy trying to like protect their legacy model, fighting in courts, picking fights with tech platforms, clinging to like, hey, this is how I want it to be, how it's always been, LPT's building and innovating in a way that benefits agents and the consumers. Instead of slowing down the market to protect what already exists, I feel like they're actually trying to build what the next decade needs. Some of you are probably thinking like, okay, but what about solo agents, Isaac? Like, who cares about, like, who's doing something for them? Does LPT actually work if I don't want to be on a team, or if I'm not interested in building a team? Absolutely yes. As a matter of fact, I'd say it's the best platform out there for solo agents, because here's the thing, LPT's agent value proposition is still one of the strongest for solo agents. No sign-up fees, no monthly fees, comp plans with a $5,000 cap option, and an agent can choose. AI-powered marketing, stock, right? Listing power tools in the LPT ecosystem, done-for-you marketing support, and training workshops. So like if you're a solo agent, you're not getting left behind. But if you're a team leader, this move puts LPT even further ahead than it already was because of the way that they've structured things. Because very few brokerages out there are actually building team infrastructure like this aggressively, this focused, right? A lot of them say they like teams. A lot of them do like teams, and they want to do everything they can to support them, right? They'll do masterminds and all this other stuff. But are they making big strategic bets like this? Not from what I can see. And they might be trying to build stuff internally, but it's just a different thing. Think about it this way, especially like the infrastructure side. If that infrastructure can scale across the industry while remaining brokerage agnostic, that's something beautiful. Let's talk about the part that people search for but really only whisper about, and that's stock. All right, Inman reported that LPT Aperture Holdings is actively pursuing an IPO and reserved the ticker symbol LPTA with NASDAQ. That's important. All right. Now, I'm not giving you financial advice by any means. I'm just telling you what's been reported. But conceptually, if a company is building towards a larger capital market story, what increases enterprise value? Retention, engagement, recurring revenue, scalable infrastructure, production density, which means their agents selling more and more homes, without having to bring on, like a good example is I think the growth was, and don't quote me on this exact number, I don't have it in front of me, right? But it was, I think something like a 91% agent growth rate, but 180% increase in volume sold. So meaning that's like what we would call like volume density or production density, is this same group of agents selling more real estate or fewer agents selling more real estate, that kind of stuff. When you really want to do well in the stock market, you would think a lot of these things matter. Like, hey, recurring revenue, monthly recurring revenue. That's like subscription software style stuff, but that's what Humanize is. That's what Reside is. Again, not software platforms specifically, but they have monthly recurring revenue. Those things matter in an IPO. And that ecosystem's teams accelerate these outcomes. Humanize, in my opinion, strengthens recruiting and retention mechanics all day. Reside, I think where they come in, they do have that component too, but they strengthen training and coaching and operational scaling for leaders. Like Robert Palmer, the founder and CEO, stated in his thesis that teams will replace franchises. So the entire roadmap aligns. Okay, so quick like mid-video check for you. If you're still here, type in teams in the comments. I want to see how many team leaders are actually watching this, actually paying attention all the way through. Here's the other thing. If you're considering LPT Realty, or you want more breakdowns on Humanize, the Reside platform, and what's really happening with like LPTA or LPT Holdings, right? Subscribe, because I'm always going deep covering the moves that actually matter. I'll be interviewing some of these players in here. Here's the bottom line. These acquisitions weren't random. LPT Aperture Holdings acquiring Humanize.io and the Reside platform is a direct, clear strategic play to become the most team-friendly ecosystem in real estate, while still being one of the best platforms, in my opinion, the best platform for solo agents. If Robert Palmer's right, and I'm a big bet on the jockey, not on the horse guy, and I think he's a great jockey, if he's right, if teams really do replace franchises over the next decade, then here's the thing. The brokerage that becomes the best home for team leaders is going to win the next era of real estate. Super simple. Because here's the thing. Like if you look at Real Trends, you can go verify this. Look at the number of teams on Real Trends, like the big tracking report, right? Look at that in 2022. How many teams there were? 23. How many teams there were? 24, 25. That number has more than tripled in that time frame. Right? In just a few short years, this decade alone, it's more than tripled. Meanwhile, the amount of like brands, so like individual brokerage brands, has actually shrunk. I don't think he's like super far off or thinking wildly outside the box. This isn't some like radical prediction that like Treasury is going to start using cryptocurrency back in 2020 or whatever it was, like, right? There's some of these bigger things. Like this is just evidence-based. I don't think he's like calling a crazy trick shot. That's my genuine opinion and belief. Now, I want your take, right? Do you agree with Robert Palmer's thesis that teams replace franchises? I believe it. Or do you think that the traditional brokerage model comes back strong somehow? Right? If so, drop it in the comments. Let me know. Do this. Like the video if it helped. Share it with a team leader or an agent who's trying to choose the right platform. And don't forget, subscribe if you want more real estate industry breakdowns, team growth strategies, conversion strategies, and LPT Realty updates. I'll see you on the next one.